Welcome back into the channel, guys. What's going on? We have another episode of the Next Gen Houston Texans rebuild here today, and we're coming back after that Miami Dolphins game that we talked about in the last video, where we had a couple of breakout challenges. We actually ended up coming away with a surprising 41-31 victory. Now, not surprising because of the fact that the Dolphins, have a poor record, and we don't have a very good record ourselves, but more so surprising that we were able to put up 41 points. With that being said, though, we had a couple of breakout challenges, so let's see what we got here. Lee Arrington, unfortunately, did not get his dev breakout challenge, so that's unfortunate. And then Kerry Crisp also did not get his dev upgrade to superstar. We'll have to see how things play out with them in the long term, but unfortunately we were unable to earn those dev upgrades for them here in week 9. Moving on to the bye week here, we decided not to bring back quarterback Justin Walford or tight end Thaddeus Moss. They just simply wanted a little bit too much money for what they actually contribute to the team as backups. Now, we may consider bringing them back in off-season free agency at the end of the season or something like that, but we're not committed to them long term. However, we did decide to bring back both right tackle Drew Ford and strong safety LaMichael Scandrick, as well as left outside linebacker Tavares Blackburn. Now, in parallel to basically all of the other players that we have been re-signing this season, we gave them 2-year deals with, basically a couple $1,000,000 each per year in order just to see if they can continue to prove themselves as up-and-coming players for this team. I will say that we did offer a contract to Abdul Curley, and he rejected the contract, so we'll see if he decides to walk in free agency or how that situation develops in itself. Next up on the contract negotiation slate was cornerback Keon Crossan, who ended up coming back to the team as a 25-year-old player here on a 2-year deal for a relatively cheap deal. So I was happy to get him back for 2 years on a pretty cheap deal in comparison to what I think a lot of other cornerbacks are worth or asking for. So he'll be a good, solid rotational player with the potential to jump in and jump up on the depth chart as things progress within this franchise. Unfortunately, though, Abdul Curley is looking like he's going to be moving on from the team in the offseason. We will try to extend an offer to him in the offseason free agency phase, but the problem I think here is that he wanted quite a bit more money than we were willing to give him, and he wanted a 4-year deal, and I really wasn't willing to commit to a 4-year deal on a guy that is not necessarily our number one running back, though I do like the way that he has performed for this team. I think that testing the waters for him in free agency is going to be a beneficial thing for him and our team, because there's the potential that he could come back for us for cheaper if he doesn't find an offer out there, and if he does find an offer out there, maybe he could get a lead back role, and that could help him long term within his career. So I like this. Not necessarily happy to see him go or anything like that. I did want to bring him back, but I think that this is a mutually beneficial situation here where Abdul Curley will be testing the market after this season. Coming off our bye week, though, we do have an opportunity here as a 5-4 team within the division because the Titans are sitting at 5-4 and the Jaguars are sitting at 4-5. Now, there's a bit of a resurgence there from the Jaguars because I feel like they weren't doing so well prior, but they are now essentially just one game out of the division lead. We'll see what happens with these other two teams that we're competing with for the division here, but I think that this is actually kind of a surprising outcome. With that being said, we have the Patriots this week who are 5-4. Going into this game, we are going to be playing at Gillette, which is a hard place to go in and win a football game, but the new look Patriots aren't as good as they used to be, so we'll see if we can't sneak out a win against the Patriots in this one. Now, unfortunately, coming off that bye week and our 3-game winning streak, we did lose the game against the New England Patriots 24-18. We put up a heck of a fight in that game, and to be quite honest with you, I can't blame that loss on anybody in particular, just the Patriots doing a good job of taking care of business in the end. And we're going to be going up against the Chargers this week, 5-5 against the 4-6 Chargers, and that puts the division standings at us tied with the Jaguars at 5-5 with the Titans on top at 6-4. Hopefully we can get a win here and continue to progress towards potentially vying for a playoff spot, but if we do fall within this game, we are going to go to a point where we're not going to be looking too good towards the end of the season here in terms of our record. And ladies and gentlemen, the big wide receiver Jack Hayes continues to display his absolute talent at the wide receiver position and continues to develop as a basically deep threat jump ball wide receiver. You guys can see there downfield, Nick Biggs basically throws up a prayer here. And by some miracle, Jack Hayes, between three other guys, is able to come down with this football. He goes up, he does a fantastic job of high pointing that ball. He finds it. He comes down with it between three guys, feet in bounds and everything. And this guy is looking like the true superstar on the outside for the future for the Houston Texans, soon to be the Houston Oilers. Can't wait to see what the future holds for this guy, but definitely looking forward to what he has to offer as a tall, deep threat, jump ball type of wide receiver. And unfortunately, guys, we are going to fall in this one. Unfortunately, dropping another game here, 2 games in a row. That is, we're going to lose this one 38-24 to the Chargers. Now, we did put up quite a performance on the offensive side of the ball, but we had a tough time stopping the Chargers offense, especially with Justin Herbert out there dotting up and basically making our defense look like college level players. And that's okay. You know, we have a lot of development left to go, but really nice performance from the Chargers in order to get that win over us 38-24. And it's looking more and more likely that we're going to miss out on playoffs, but we do still have a chance at this point in the season, so we'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, this has been a common theme for us, though, following a lot of these games so far this season, is Titus Howard is out with an injury. Now, he's gotten injured in the midst of a lot of these games, so we're starting to notice a bit of an injury issue with Titus Howard here. He's going to be out for 7 weeks with a broken wrist, which is pretty much the rest of the season. If we do make playoffs, he'll have an opportunity to come back for this team, but really tough loss to lose Titus Howard, especially, this late into the season when we do still have somewhat of a chance. And it's going to come time here to negotiate a contract with Braxton Berrios. I like what he has done for us so far in the season with 278 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. With all the competition we have at the receiving spot, he's been a pretty reliable target for us. He's not prolific or anything like that, but I think that he's asking for quite a bit of money in comparison to what we would actually be wanting to pay him. Unfortunately, he's asking for over $5 million a year. This is somebody that we do want to bring back, but we're probably not going to necessarily want to commit to such a large contract, so it'll be tough to see if he does come to terms with the team here or if he's going to go out and test free agency once more. It might be beneficial to us if we do want to keep him around to sign him to a contract right now, because he'll probably get a bit more expensive once free agency does roll around. Unfortunately, we were unable to come to terms with Braxton Berrios on a contract. He just simply wanted too much money for what he actually brought to the table. As a 73 overall wide receiver, I think over $5 million a year over 3 years was a little bit expensive, so we were unable to sign him to a deal. And now with our loss to the Seahawks, who came into that game at 9-2, and, putting up a pretty good fight against the team that was 9-2 and significantly better in terms of overall than us as a 27-21 loss, we fall to 5-7, and we are looking to be pretty much knocked out of the playoff picture. Now, obviously, there are 4 weeks here remaining, and it is worthwhile to see how those things play out, but we are going to be speeding through the rest of this season to get you guys some off-season action, and you guys can see from the playoff picture here that we are not currently sitting within the playoff picture, and so not looking good for us for playoff hopes, but that's okay. To have come to this point and already have 5 wins on the season, I think is actually surpassing my expectations with this team, and I look forward to see what we can get done in the offseason to continue to improve this team. I think it's really worthwhile to note that we have focused in on a couple of different position groups, especially we're just going to highlight here the cornerback group within this draft file. There are various other positions that we'll be targeting as we get there, and we'll show you guys whenever we get to the offseason, but one of the position groups that we've really honed in on that is necessary for us to continue to improve this team and actually has a lot of talent to go along with that within this draft file is the cornerback position. Even if we don't get one of the first round cornerbacks, there is a lot of talent available here at the cornerback position. This is one of the deeper cornerback drafts that I think I've ever actually seen in Madden, so I'm looking forward to at least adding maybe 2, if not 3 of these players to my team, or this team as the draft approaches whenever we actually hit the offseason. Following a 4-game losing streak here, we actually came in against the Arizona Cardinals, who were sitting with 9 wins at that point in the season and really looking for playoff spot and even a division win potentially, depending on how things played out within that division. We were able to come away with a really nice win, 38-27 over the Cardinals. Now, obviously, that's a bit of a consolation win for us because the best we can do this season is 8-8. But with the Colts remaining on the schedule and then the Titans as a division opponent, we could potentially look to spoil what's going on for the Titans, and the Jaguars could jump up to the number 1 spot. So I'm looking forward to potentially getting a win over both of these teams in the last 2 weeks. Now, obviously, that's not guaranteed, but a really nice, strong win showcasing some of the talent and some of the positives that this team has against the Cardinals there, 38-27 in Week 15. Now, I am very happy to say that at the end of the season here, we were able to play spoiler for the Tennessee Titans, and I know that we have been speeding through the end of the season here, so not too many highlights to show you guys or anything like that, but one of the things that I look forward to the most to show you guys here in a moment is the development of this team. You guys will get a good picture of how far we've come with this team from where we've started, and the Jaguars were able to jump up to the the division win in the AFC South here because of our 21-14 victory over the Titans. The Titans thought they had this division in the bag, and they come up with a big L in Week 17 against us, and we did a nice job of playing spoiler there, so very happy about that one. And as I said, I want to recap you guys on how this team has done, how they've developed, and everything in relation to that. So we've advanced to the point where we actually get to see some of the progress of the team, some of the Pro Bowl voting, and we've gotten a bunch of upgrades for what we've done so far this season. So Ronnie Stanley did make the Pro Bowl. We actually have quite a few Pro Bowl representatives, which is fantastic. So Stanley comes in as the LT1, and then on top of that, from the defensive line, we had where is he at? Rick Carr came in as the DT1, which is a fantastic player to have on this list. I'm so excited that the young DT was able to make it onto this list, especially as the DT1 for the AFC side of things. And then on top of that, we had both of our safeties make it as the top safeties within, or as safeties within the Pro Bowl on the AFC side. So Justin Reid made it as the free safety, and then Dalvin Turk made it as the strong safety. So we had 4 very nice Pro Bowl representatives there for us, and we're very excited to announce those 4 players. And then we have a really interesting Super Bowl matchup following a pretty interesting playoff bracket here within 2021. So we had Kansas City facing off against the Tennessee Titans, and they advanced to the AFC Championship. And then after that, on the other side, we had the New England Patriots defeating the Jaguars and then the Browns and advancing all the way to the AFC Championship. Kansas City came out on top. That one's not so exciting or surprising for us, but what is surprising is the NFC side of things. So we had the Giants and the Cardinals facing off. The Cardinals ended up advancing to play the Seahawks, and then we had the Bears facing off against the Rams, who advanced to play the Saints and defeated the Saints. And the NFC Championship was 2 teams that haven't been there in a while in the Cardinals and the Bears. So 2 fresh faces on the NFC side of things. We have the Cardinals back in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm hoping for a Cardinals Super Bowl win, but we'll see what happens whenever that week is advanced. And there you guys have it. The Cardinals actually fall to Kansas City, but in a very, very good matchup, 31-24. Kansas City and Mahomes do earn another Super Bowl. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into how this team has progressed throughout the season and what everything is looking like for the future of this Texans organization. So if you guys think back to the first essentially the first week of this franchise, we were sitting at about a 75 overall as a team. We have now advanced to a 76, and on the offensive side of the ball, we are up to a 77. We've seen really great progression out of a lot of these players. I think that our offensive line is looking actually really good across the board moving forward. I don't think we need to add too much here. Obviously, we will want to add a little bit of depth to this offensive line, but I like what we have going on here. At the tight end position, Albert O progressed up to a 70 overall, which is looking solid, and he has star development. So our weapon at the tight end position is looking good. I would like to add another tight end to complement him, but maybe more of a run blocking type of player. And then at the wide receiver position, we had Arrington go up to star development. Jack Hayes, unfortunately, did not go up to star development, probably because the depth chart got shifted around a bit at times. Injuries and things like that played into account, and so they probably didn't have as many yards as I would have liked, but we're looking for a big year 2 out of those guys. Nick Biggs is up to a 73 overall, which is a nice improvement from where he started out, and Kerry Crisp is up to a 78 overall star. On the defensive side of the ball, this is where we've seen a lot of the improvements. So Rick Carr up to X Factor and an 82 overall. Frank Rucker up to a 74 overall behind him. The other defensive linemen didn't progress nearly as much as Rick Carr or Rucker did. Actually, Rucker didn't progress quite as much either, but Rick Carr looking really good for the future of this organization. The defensive backs, as I said, the cornerbacks are looking a little bit weak, and we're going to be seeing departures from guys like Kevin King. The linebacker position could use a little bit of work, as Zach Cunningham is down to a 77 now. Bernardrick McKinney is at an 80. JoJo Stanton, though, had a pretty good season on the outside, and he's up to a 74. Dalvin Turk, the standout player at strong safety, coming up to a 77 star, and Justin Reid up to an 84 star at his position. He did get major awards from both Nick Biggs and Dalvin Turk, as they won Rookie of the Year respectively for their positions. So Nick Biggs won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Dalvin Turk won Defensive Rookie of the Year. So super excited to have 2 Rookie of the Years on this team. Those guys are looking to be cornerstones of this franchise for the future. And that'll do it for this video, guys. We have reached the off season, so I hope you guys look forward to getting a nice off season recap video. We're going to be doing the same style of highlight video like this, so we're going to be able to go in and drop in as we sign players, as we identify who we want to bring into the team, as we draft players, so you guys will get a good look at everything essentially as it happens. And I hope you guys look forward to that episode. I look forward to addressing some of the needs of this team, and especially through the draft, I think that we are going to be able to acquire quite a few standout talents that'll be able to help this team long term. If you guys do enjoy this type of episode, as always, or this type of video I should say, leave a like on it, and subscribe to the channel for more if you want to see more of this type of content or more from this franchise itself. Hit that bell notification button. I know that we did speed through this video a little bit and speed through the end of the season, but it wasn't looking positive for us. I'm looking forward to get us more gameplay whenever this team starts to develop further, and hopefully once we get into the Houston Oilers jerseys. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you guys have a good night.